G'day ladies and gents, and welcome back to War Thunder with Mags, and as I promised a few videos ago, today we are talking about one of my favourite fighter types of the Second World War, although it is one of the later variants. This is the Mitsubishi A6M5 Otsu Type 0 Navy fighter. And yes, that is where the Zero name comes from. So, the Otsu is a rank 3 aircraft with a battle rating of 5.3. This gives it the dual honour of being the highest battle rating variant of the A6M series available in War Thunder, and also gives it one of the highest BR ratings for a rank 3 fighter of any nation in the game. For most nations, 5.3 BR fighters are most commonly seen in rank 4. This last bit doesn't make a huge difference in regards to the aircraft's performance, but it does affect how the aircraft can be used for unlocking other aircraft, but we'll come to that a little bit later. So today we'll be taking a look at 3 battles cut down to focus on just the combat sections, and whenever we get into lulls in that combat, we'll talk about the aircraft proper. So this first battle is nothing really to write home about in terms of kill count. It's 2 kills in this battle. The first one's about to come up, and they are pretty straightforward kills. A simple diving boom and zoom style attack right here on the LA-11. Yeah, that's right. We're going to boom and zoom in LA-11, because if he's dumb enough to go slow, I'm going to go fast and use it against him. Second target's going to be the French VB-1002 here, and again, it's pretty much going to be the same thing. He's going to dive in on target, not pay attention, a little bit of wild shooting here. I should have probably conserved my shots a little bit, but I'm not lacking in ammunition in this aircraft. As he makes the turn, he slows himself down. If he had flown straight, I never would have caught him. A little bit of damage on. And there he goes. That's it. That's my 2 kills for this match. The rest of the enemy team is going to be decimated, but before that happens, I'm currently at low speed, low altitude, and low energy in a Zero directly underneath the enemy team. And I do not care at all. This is why we're including this clip. Yak 3 comes in. 500 meters out, I'm basically able to completely reverse the aircraft and dive underneath him. It's no major thing whatsoever. Now, I did almost get caught here because I was paying more attention to the Yak and not my sides, but was still able to roll out of the J-21's guns and almost slot instantly on at 6 before it can even clear a kilometer away with speed on. And the next up is the Yak 3, and you can see he's telegraphing a dive, so put a little burst in front of him, then immediately roll out. He pops it from underneath, not knowing, and I'm able to bring the nose around underneath and now get shots onto the J-21. Unfortunately, nothing really landed here, just a couple of hits, no criticals, no major damage. A little bit of poor shooting, to be perfectly honest. That probably should have been a kill, but still, that's 3 aircraft diving in while I'm in the worst possible situation. A situation in almost any other aircraft that would guarantee that these guys have actually got you. But the Zero's turn radius and its ability to hold energy at lower speeds, as well as its capabilities in the vertical, frankly, means that if you're paying attention, you just don't care. The Zero is one of the few aircraft that I am completely unconcerned when an enemy fighter has an energy advantage on me, whether that energy advantage be speed or altitude. The thing with the Zero is, if anybody wants to kill you, they have to come to you. They don't have a choice, which means flown correctly, you almost always get to dictate the nature of the battle. So the rest of the last match was essentially me watching my team cut down the few stragglers that were remaining and moving on. So for the next match, this is a 6.3 battle. Currently holding about 10,000 feet. This is a pretty good area for the Zero. The Zero can hit its maximum speed at just under 20,000. It's got a maximum altitude of about 35, but I find 10,000 is a good area overall for speed performance versus maneuverability. Higher is better in some situations, but as a general rule, around 10,000 feet is usually good enough. And I'm looking at this F4U down here at the moment. For some reason, he's gone in really low, but he's definitely turning back in our direction. He's interested, so standard energy trap. As he takes the bait, we're going to put the nose up. Now, we had a little bit more speed on than I was expecting, so flaps out, pop a high-speed reverse, rip the guns across him. Now, I was a little bit of an idiot there. I didn't retract the flaps instantly, which I should have done, so I've torn off one of the flaps. Not really a major concern in the Zero. Minor irritation at best. And there's the kill shot, and that is ranked as not matter. One F4U4B, which I believe is currently the top Corsair that's actually available in the game at the moment, taken out. Now, to be fair, he could have made that a lot harder on me if he had actually taken altitude at the start of the match, like you should, American pilots. Take advantage of the advantages of your airframe. that could have been a little bit more difficult, but I still wouldn't have had any major concerns engaging in F4U. On his best day, I'm going to turn inside of him twice for every time he turns once. If he wants to dogfight me, he's going to lose. So next up we have a Yak 3, and this one is the VK107 Premium, the one with the upgraded engine. Nasty bit of kit. I believe I actually put this up on the channel a couple of years ago when it first came out. It's a very, very good fighter. Battle rating 5.7, so it's one of the lower tier aircraft in this match, but a little higher tiered than this aircraft. And as you can see, it is a fast machine. It's also fairly nimble and fairly maneuverable. Leading shot as we enter the merge into rolling scissors to reverse onto the tail of the 107. I do not want to be anywhere near the pointy end of that Yak. That is not a place you want to be. He's continuing to turn through. He's actually just taken shots at one of our allies here. Leading shot as he's coming through, and there goes the 107 out. Just don't turn within gun range of a Zero. Just don't do it. If the pilot's bad, you'll survive. If the pilot's good, he is just going to kill you. He will turn inside of you and kill you every single time you do it. Open the distance, keep a gap, make sure you're outside of reliable gun range before you turn back and use your speed against the Zero. That's how you deal with Zero pilots. You never turn within range to them, and if there's any situation where you're just not sure, leave them. Disengage. Yes, you'll have to come back and engage them at some point if you want to kill them and win the match, but if you're unsure, just don't do it now. Anyways, we still have one more kill to get in this match. It is going to be a bomber kill. I'll put the spoiler out for that in advance. That TU2 over there is going to be something we're going to have to deal with, but in the meantime I'm going to spend a little bit of time killing these AI because I have ammo to spare and I'm kind of bored, which actually works really well because it means we can sit back and have a little bit of a talk about why does the Otsu have such a high BR? Why is this the highest BR0 in the game? And that's actually a really good question because it's got nothing to do with its performance. The Otsu is not the last version of the A6M5 that was produced. It was produced in mid to late 1944, so it is near the end, but it is not the final Zero. And in terms of flight performance, it's not really anything special. Engine and aerodynamics wise, it's pretty much identical to the other A6M5 variants, the only major change being a slight modification to the standard cowling and to the drop tanks, which are not modelled in War Thunder anyway, so they do not play a factor. Now the change in the cowling was due to the armament change, and this is the only major difference between the standard A6M5 and the Otsu, with the Otsu switching out its right-hand 7.7mm machine gun in exchange for a 13.2mm heavy machine gun. So, mystery solved, right? A bigger gun is why the higher BR. Well, no. See, the A6M5 here and the premium A6M6C, which is essentially an A65 variant anyway, have the same flight performance, but switch out both 7.7s for 3 13.2mm machine guns. That's right, 2 7.7s in exchange for 3 13.2s, but they only have a BR of 5.0. So, same flight performance, more firepower, lower BR. And that's the TU2 taken care of, and the final kill in this match. So, with this match pretty much done, this brings us back to the question. Why does the Otsu have a 0.3 higher BR than any other Zero in the game? And I believe this is just a symptom of the way that Gaijin shuffles its BR system. The Otsu isn't a bad plane, but it does have two drawbacks, one of only which is related to its in-combat performance. The first issue is its tech tree position. It sits in the middle of a stack of 3 A6M, so it's not required as an unlock to get to the next plane in the tree, but it's also not the final aircraft in that stack of 3 A6Ms, of which the third one is the Hiei with 3 13mm machine guns, which is a lot more attractive to people. The second is the mixed armament, with 3 different sized weapons with 3 different ammo loads and 3 different ballistics trajectories on each gun. Getting all guns on target can be a little bit difficult if you're not used to the aircraft. Now, all 3 of these A6M models have always been relatively close to one another in terms of BR rating. So, if you're in the mood to just fly a Zero, you're probably going to pick the A6M5. You get the same flight performance, a little bit less in the way of firepower, but you've only got to worry about the ballistics of 2 weapons types rather than 3. If you're a bit of a Zero connoisseur and you're willing to dig into the Zero tree a little bit deeper, you're probably going to want the one with more firepower. So you're likely to go for the Hiei, which is going to have 3 13mm machine guns. So you've got more firepower to play with, again, for pretty much the same flight performance. This leaves the Otsu in this weird place where less people in general are going to fly it. You're either going to fly the first A6M5 or you're going to fly the biggest A6M5. But less people flying it also means there's less people failing in it. Over the years, pretty much all of the other Zero variants have been down-tiered over time. The Otsu has managed to get to the highest BR rating, not because it's a superior fighter in any particular way, or at least not in my opinion. It's just because less people fly it, and therefore less people get shot down in it, so on average it's got a higher battle efficiency. So Gaijin doesn't down-tier it. It does have one other negative, although I think this is probably less important to most people, and it comes down to rank efficiency when it comes to grinding. The Otsu, as I mentioned at the start of this video, is battle rating 5.3, which is generally a rank 4 battle rating. However, the Otsu is only rank 3. Because of the way Gaijin handles research point drop-off at one rank above and one rank below, it means a rank 3 aircraft is only really efficient at grinding rank 2 fighters, or rank 2 aircraft, and up to rank 4 aircraft, whereas most other 5.3 aircraft at rank 4 are efficient at rank 3 through rank 5. This means you can use them to efficiently grind jets. You can't with the Zero. It's a 5.3 aircraft that will face rank 4 5.3 aircraft, but is not efficient at actually unlocking anything in the jet tier. It's not really a great pick to progress down the tree from the point that it's sitting at. And we have a BF-109 G6. Now, to be fair to the G6 pilot here, he was being attacked from above, but going hard vertical in a G6 like that, directly in front of an A6M5, don't do it. Big mistake. Big, huge mistake. Don't do it. The G6 is a powerful plane, but it's much better in a dive. It is a weighty aircraft, and going vertical like that, it's going to lose a lot of airspeed really fast. The A6M almost doesn't care about gravity. It's just going to catch you in the climb every single time. But yes, anyways, as I was saying, I don't think this is a huge factor, but it is definitely something that is worth considering when it comes to the the A6M5's position, the Otsu's position rather. At 5.3 battle rating, you can take out the first N1K. You can take out the J2M3, which is also 5.3. You can take out the Ki 84 Co. All of these are rank 4 aircraft, still battle rating 5.3, are still going to get exactly the same battle rating range, but you can use these to grind things in the rank 5 jet tree. So you can get things like the R2Y2, the KI200, the Kicker, the F86. You can use these to unlock jets and keep your efficiency, which you can't with the Otsu. It's just that little extra thing on the end that tends to draw people away from the plane. So, in my opinion, should the Otsu be 5.3? No, I think all the A6M5 variants should all be pretty much the same tier, regardless of whether that's 5, 5.3, 5.7, it doesn't actually matter. Their air-to-air performance is basically the same across all aircraft. They're flown in exactly the same way, and really all the variants are is a choose-your-own-adventure for which combination of weapons that you want. And the weapons aren't so great as to really make that much of a difference. Now, 13mm nice to have, but if you've only got the 7.7, you're still going to do well if you know what you're doing. Invert dive and turning 90 degrees to the J21. Cut around. Now he actually got a tap on my tail then, nothing too significant, but yeah, enough to put something on the paper doll. But he had the right idea. He had the high-speed dive, he was trying to open up the gap, and then he decided to go vertical like the G6 did, and so, much like the G6, little bit more ammo spent there than I would have liked, but J21 is taken out, second kill of the match. And so this brings us around to the last plane, and this is just it's probably not the best example, but it's the best example I came up with in the matches that I was flying on how to counter a pilot that doesn't do something stupid within your immediate gun range. So in just a moment, an LA-7B is about to arrive. The pilot here knows what he's doing. He's at high altitude at the moment. He's going to dive in, he's going to make some high-speed passes at targets, and then he's going to use the aircraft's energy advantage to pull back out of range. He's going to take a swing at us. We're going to try and get him. He's going to stay out of gun range. And it's going to be a pretty good play overall. So just turning against this J21, trying to get position. Other A6M pops in, and here he comes, LA7B. I was expecting him to turn in on me there, so I did an evasive roll. He didn't, taking it back into the vertical. A couple of bursts ahead. Nothing is going to land. He just rolls out and uses his energy to pull away. This is a smart play. While he did go vertical there, he was diving from 5,000 or 6,000 feet higher than us, and he was very close to 700 kilometers an hour, more than fast enough to be able to keep out of our gun range while taking the energy that he needs to be able to reposition himself to engage anybody that he wants below. He's flying a boom and zoom orientated aircraft exactly as one should be flown. So he's doing the right thing. Now he's going after our teammate over there at the moment. Now we are not in a position to be able to help. I've just got to hope that he can get out of the way. What I'm doing right now is trying to turn myself parallel to him, and I'm back in the climb. A plane like that being flown correctly can be a real major issue for a Zero. Something like an LA7 or a P51, anything that's actually got some fairly decent speed on it that can climb out well and hold energy at high speed. Focke-Wulf 190 would be another example of this. A properly flown 109 can do this as well. Can be an issue by keeping speed up and managing to constantly keep themselves outside of gun range. The only way to deal with these planes when you're in a Zero is you need to take altitude immediately when you're dealing with one and try and neutralize the altitude gap between them. If they climb, you climb, and you climb to their altitude. The only way they can engage you then is engaging you on a flat. You take away the ability for them to generate large amounts of energy in a dive. And when you do that, well, if they dive themselves, you can use the energy to dive in on their 6 and kill them before they get up too much speed. If they engage you on the flat, you can peg them as they go past. They're not moving so fast. They're easier to get a lead on and actually get a kill shot on, especially with the turn radius and the Zero. Or, alternatively, if they try and turn with you, you tear their throats out and be done with it. You force the enemy to engage you on your terms, not on theirs. Anyways, ladies and gents, hope you've enjoyed the video and thank you very much for watching. War Thunder will be returning to the channel very soon once again, and until next time, remember to click that like button if you did, share and subscribe if you want to see more, and as always, take care.